Bueno, pues tenía pensado coger un jeep para que me llevara por los kilómetros de Fuerte que hay, porque este es enorme. Pero el del tuk-tuk me ha dicho, mira, incluyendo la subida y la llevada de vuelta al hotel, más 3 horas de visita, yo te llevo a los sitios, te espero, los visitas y te llevo al siguiente destino, donde todo el Fuerte, así que perfecto.
Do you want a guide?
No, thank you.
Without guide, how can I understand? If you will take guide will be explained.
Book.
Yeah, I know, but there are many places has been ruined during the attack.
Yeah, but the guide will be for the whole fort.
Yes, I will show 13 place and I will come with you for the everywhere like it. You will see whole thing in the fort. It is a spread in 700 acres area. Okay. So this one is a royal palace. There are 8 palaces.
550.
550. But I will pay only 400 because now is no tourist season.
Okay, okay.
So first you are most welcome on this spot. I am local guide. My name is Rameshwar.
Do you mind if I record?
Yeah.
Okay.
So actually this fort was built in 5th century. I mean 1500 years ago. It was built by Chittorgarh Maurya. He was first king. Name was Chittorgarh Maurya. So according to his name, this fort which is known as a Chitrakoot. Chitra it means name of the king, Chittorgarh. And Koot it means fort, like a wall. So Chitrakoot name has been converted to Chittorgarh name. So now this fort which is known as a Chittorgarh. So here 5th to 8th century, I mean 300 years, this fort was ruled by Maurya dynasty. Chittorgarh Maurya, he was descendant of Ashoka, you know. Ashoka, he was a great emperor of Bihar.
No.
Now that one is called Bihar near the Delhi state.
Okay.
So in those days Bihar known as a Magadh. Magadh, that was region.
Yes, Magadh, yeah.
So Chittorgarh Maurya, he was descendant of from the Magadh.
Okay.
And here 5th to 8th century this fort was undertaken by Maurya dynasty. Maurya, they were Buddhist people. But in 8th century came from Gujarat. You know Gujarat?
Mm-hmm.
So Bappa Rawal, he is another king. He came from Gujarat and he conquered this fort from the Mauryas and he established Sun dynasty here. I mean he belonged to Sun god. So this fort was undertaken by Sun dynasty from 8th century to 16th century, near about 800 years. This fort was undertaken by Sun dynasty. They were Hindu people.
Okay.
That's why they were built inside the fort 113 temple like that.
This is inside the fort.
Yes, and there are 84 stories of water for the people because in those days 65,000 people used this fort for living. So and there are 8 palaces like this. So in those days Chittor was capital of Mewar. You know, in those days Rajasthan had 2 parts, Mewar and Marwar.
Yes.
So this one is called Mewar.
Mewar.
I mean in which Mewar area like the Chittor to Mount Abu, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mount Abu,
before
yes.
the Mount Abu, all part involved in the Mewar, and from that side is a Ratlam, you know, Middle India in a Ratlam district. So Ratlam district also involved in the Mewar in those days, and from that side is Ajmer. Before the Ajmer, whole part known as a Mewar. In that side is Kota, Bundi. So I mean all green part and mountain part known as a Mewar. Another part which is called Marwar. I mean all desert part of Rajasthan, like Jaisalmer, Jodhpur, Bikaner. So that one is called Mewar, this one is called Mewar, and that one is called Marwar.
Marwar.
So now both of part involved and known as Rajasthan.
Okay.
So Chittor, it was capital of Mewar from 8th to 16th century. So when this fort was capital, so there 27 time attack was done by Muslim, by Mughal. So in which 3 time major attack was done by Muslim. So 3 time our king he lost battle. And in those days, all women they did Johar. Do you know Johar? Self-immolation. I mean, when our king he thought we will not won the battle. So before it, people go to the fight. Before it, all women they take a bath and then jump into the blazing fire with their children. That one is called Johar.
Okay.
And there is Sati. You know Sati? Mm-hmm. Sati, it is word. I mean, in those days it was tradition. When her husband died, his wife she burned with her husband dead body alive. That one is called Sati.
Oh.
So it was tradition in this fort. And Johor, it means when Muslim he conquered. So before the conquered, all women they jump into the blazing fire. In this way, women saved the honor, saved the prestige. That is why that one is called Johor.
Wow.
So it was happening 3 times. So 3 times Muslim he conquered this fort and he came in, but he could not see any women. That's why Chittorgarh has been destroyed in 3 times by the Muslim. That's
3
why,
times?
Yeah, that's why you will see now is ruined. So this palace was royal palace. From 8th to 16th century, all royal family member used this palace for living. And just to cross the 7th gate, that one is a not real entrance. I mean, I will show main entrance of this fort in eastern side. Because sun rise through the eastern side and all king they belong to sun god. That's why king having real entrance in eastern side. So we will see main entrance in eastern side.
Okay.
That one is the back side. That's why first you came from the back side. That's why first you have see the royal palace. Okay, and just to cross that way, so that way used by horse in those days. That one is also,
This one?
Yeah. So that was also used in those days by horse, and that was the horse stable. And you see down there. That one was second entrance of this palace. That entrance. So in those days, people used that entrance for come inside the palace, royal family. So that entrance, which is known as a three-pole, because you know, according to Hindu mythology, we have 3 major gods: Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. That is why, according to 3 god name, that entrance, which is known as a three-pole. 3 it means 3, pole it means gate. And you see the big dome on the right hand side of that gate?
Yeah.
So that was a stand for the rhinoceros. For the rhinoceros, like elephant, a small elephant.
Yes.
So that was a stand for the elephant. King used that one for keep the elephant.
Okay.
And in those days it was an audience hall. You can see in down there is a garden. So that garden used by local people for the seat.
Okay.
So in those days it was an audience hall like a court. And you see the small terrace in down. So in those days VIP person like a minister used that terrace for the seat. And king and queen used balcony in left side. So if any common people they want he want to give complaint to king, so he was there and king listened his problem and give the solution. So it was like a court in those days.
Okay, like an audience call.
Yeah.
Eso era la entrada del este. Y esto sería donde estamos ahora, el Palacio Real. Esta puerta era la puerta para los caballos.
And then after you use small way for come in the palace, because have you seen city palace in Udaipur?
Yes.
So you there is also never
Udaipur.
narrow way. Yeah, Udaipur.
No.
Okay, when you will go Udaipur, you will see a small way in the palace. Because if our king, he thought if enemy had won this fort, so not coming with the crowd, one by one coming the enemy. If we have a few army inside the palace, so easily we stop them. That's why they situated a small way.
Yeah.
And you see the balcony in front of you.
Yeah.
So now that balcony was restored in 18th century by royal family. That's why you see looks like a new one. So in those days that balcony used king for the worship of sun, because this one is a east direction. So
Ok, pues ese balcón fue reconstruido o restaurado en 1800 y era para rezar al sol, ya que el sol sale por el este, que es justamente donde dan los ventanales. Ok.
And if you will go Udaipur in city palace, you can see in city palace a sun idol which is made in pure gold. So before 16th century that idol was put that side, because when our king he could not see sun in the sky by the cloud, by the rain time, so first king used should the worship of sun idol, then used horse for the worship. So 7 horse tied there.
Ok.
Because you know, according to Hindu mythology, we have a sun god. Sun god have a chariot. You know chariot? So that chariot transported by 7 horse. That's why king used that part for keep the 7 horse for the worship.
Ok. O sea, esos pilares que veis ahí dentro era para atar 7 caballos en total, que eran los que tiraban del chariot.
And during the worship time, you see behind you a senator. So that senator, which is known as a Nobat Khana, I mean this one was a musician chamber. So during the worship time, some musician sit at that top and play the music like a drum, like a flute. So that was a musician chamber. That is why this one is known as a Nobat Khana. Nobat, it means musician.
Okay.
Okay. So now we are going to see different part of this palace. Because in those days, all Rajput ladies, women used a veil, covered her face. That's why we will see here different palace. I mean, in right hand side, this palace which is known as a Janana Mahal. Janana, it means female.
Okay.
So all female used this part for living in those days. And in left hand side, this part which is known as a Mardana Mahal. Mardana, it means male. So this part used by male for live.
El lado izquierdo era los dormitorios de los hombres, el de la derecha, bueno, y la vivienda de los hombres, y el de la derecha el de las mujeres. These were only dormitories or everything?
No, royal ladies.
Okay, but only dormitories to sleeping or bathrooms, everything?
I mean, king in those days, one king have many wives. So this part used for the female for living, but king also go there everywhere.
Okay.
And prince and children used that part. And you see the basement of this palace. So in those days, all basement used to keep the grain. It was granary. Because you can see that side is a idol. That idol which is known as a Annapurna. Because according to Hindu mythology, we have many god and goddess.
Yeah.
So Annapurna is goddess. So which one goddess represent eatable thing. That's why that idol which is known as a Annapurna. So from the idol we can say that one is a granary. And in those days whole palace covered with roof. It was covered in 3 sections. But now roof has been broken. But you can see the steps.
Yes, yes.
Because when a Muslim he conquered, he could not found any woman, any ladies. So he became angry and he destroyed most of the temple, statue. Then after put gunpowder in the palace and blast the roof, because Muslim invader he thought if we will won the fort but we go back, so if any another person became king of this fort, so all money is spent on the repair this thing, so he didn't increase his army, that's why.
Pues este palacio fue construido por rey hindú en 1500, bueno, el siglo XV, y fue destruido hasta 3 veces, o atacado hasta 3 veces por los musulmanes, hasta que fue conquerido por los musulmanes, por eso se ve todo en ruinas, porque bueno, al final ganaron y lo derruyeron casi todo.
And this whole palace, it is built in pure Rajput architecture. Rajput architecture. We can understand Rajput architecture. You see the everywhere balcony like this. So every balcony, under the balcony, you can see the 4 stone piece for the support. So from the support, we can understand this one is a Rajput style.
Okay.
If you will see the Agra fort in Agra, you will not see like this art in Agra. So it is different, and it is symbol of the Rajput style. It must be room for the king.
Okay.
And in down, in left hand side, that one also covered in 3 story in those days. So that part used prince for living. That one separate for the prince. And that one which is known as a Kamar Panda Mahal. Kamar it means prince. Mahal it means palace. So that palace separate for the prince.
Really?
Yeah. And in down a small ground. So in those days, all prince used that ground for learning the weapon, like a sword. That one was a training ground for the prince. And do you know Panna Dhai? If you heard about name of Panna Dhai,
No.
Panna actually she was nurse of the prince in that time. So when Uday Singh, Uday Singh he founded Udaipur town. So when Uday Singh he was a childhood, so she protected him in that palace. But in that time, Uday Singh's elder brother Vikramaditya, he was lazy person. He was a drinker man. He was not good able to make a king. But unfortunately, he became king of this fort. So in that time, Banvir, he was an illegal son. He was born from the another maid servant. So he was powerful. So one day he killed the Vikramaditya, I mean king of this fort, and he became king of this fort. So after that he thought Uday Singh, he was a real prince. So he thought, if I will kill the real prince in the childhood, then I will one king of this fort. So he went there with open sword to kill the real prince. But Panna, she was a midwife. So she protected him because she have her own son. So she changed cloth and she put her own son where the prince sleep. So when Banvir, he appeared in front of her with open sword, and he asked to her, where is the real prince? So she hint her own son, he is a prince, and he killed her own son.
Wow.
Yeah, but she did not cry, she did not weep, she gave sacrifice her own son for saved the prince's life.
That was the midwife.
Yeah.
Wow.
So there are a lot of history. So she gave sacrifice in that palace for her son. Then after Uday Singh, he became king. She went with Uday Singh to Kumbalgarh, because in that time Uday Singh, he was only 3 years old. Then he became big and he conquered this fort. Again and again he became king of this fort. So as I told you, this part used by female. That's why you can see in left side, this one is a toilet.
Okay.
Because in those days royal ladies used this toilet from 8th century.
Este sería el lavabo de las mujeres.
This one is a bathroom in front of you, and this one is a must-be dressing room for the ladies. So, as I told you, this palace was built in 8th century, but when Alauddin Khilji, he attacked on this fort, and that time Padmani, she was queen, and she did Johor along 16,000 women. So after the Johor, Alauddin Khilji, he conquered it and he destroyed it. Then after this palace was renovated by Rana Kumba. Rana Kumba, he was a great ruler and great scholar. So he was king of this fort, so he renovated this palace. That is why now this palace, which is known as a Kumba Palace.
Ok. Pues se ve que el nacimiento de lo que era el heredero del trono iba a ser asesinado. Vinieron expresamente para matarlo, para que no hubiera heredero. Y la sirvienta tenía un hijo, puso a su propio hijo en la cama del príncipe. Y cuando vinieron a matarle y preguntaron dónde estaba el príncipe, señaló a su propio hijo y no derramó ninguna lágrima ni nada. Increíble.
So as I told you, in those days it was covered in 3 stories. That is why one steps you can see from outside.
Yes.
And another steps you can see from inside. So now roof has been broken and there are many windows. So in those days, old window covered with stone lattice like that. You can see in right hand side.
Yes.
So now all stone lattice has been broken, because in those days all women used a well. That's why women used to see outside, but from outside anybody could not see inside. So it is protect the well system. But now all stone lattice has been broken.
Yeah.
And in those days, all palace covered with color, like a red color, because
Yes.
red is symbol of the married woman. That's why. And also blue color. So blue color is symbol of the brave.
Ok.
And you can see a tunnel. This one is a tunnel. So this tunnel goes to a water storage. I will show water storage near the Victory Tower. So in those days, all women used a well. That's why women used this tunnel for go to the bath.
Okay.
After take a bath, come back through this way, because
Okay.
anybody could not see her face. And when this fort was undertaken by government in 1956 AD, so government has been closed both of side. When we will go inside, when we will go outside from this tunnel. So both of side has been closed by government in 1956 AD. And you know James Road, he was a historian in the British time. So he wrote history about this fort. So according to his book, it is said Padmani, she was queen of this fort. So she did Johar, as I told you, she burnt herself. So she did Johar in the Eternal, according to British historian. But our local historian, he did not accept it. According to local historian, Padmani, she did Johar along 16,000 women in open ground of this palace. Maybe audience hall, maybe training ground for the prince. But I mean, we have many historians and their different opinion.
Pues dentro de un rato vamos a ver el estanque grande donde la gente se bañaba aquí en el palacio.
He thought, if real prince come on this board, so half part of this board I will give him. That is why he made this board. But
Okay.
In that time, 65,000 people they knew about real prince. Our real prince is alive. That's why people be aggressive. So Banvir, he left this fort and he left this fort and he went in Maharashtra. You know Nagpur.
Yes.
Yeah, Nagpur. Now even a Bhosle family. Bhosle. It is clan of the family. So they were descendant of Banvir. Because Banvir, he left this fort and he went there and he lived there.
Pues estaba diciendo antes que se acababa la batería y ojo, es que no me dejan un segundo para hablar, que el pasadizo ese que estaba vallado, no sé si lo he grabado, era para que las mujeres pudieran ir a través de túneles hasta un estanque enorme que vamos a ver un poco más después, que es lo bonito de una de las cosas bonitas de aquí del fuerte, donde la gente se podía bañar y tal. Pues a través del pasadizo se iban al estanque.
If you want to see the canal behind this wall.
Pues ahora nos vamos a ver el siguiente destino dentro del fuerte. Pues nada, me he pillado conductor y me he pillado guía. El conductor me cobra por las 3 horas 600 rupias, unas 6 libras. Y el guía me cobra 400, unas 4 libras. Y la entrada me ha costado 606 libras, por lo que en total suma 16 libras. La verdad que está muy bien. Un sitio así merece la pena pillar guía y obviamente andando es imposible con esta calor.
So now we are going to see a temple.
Temple.
Yeah, which one is called Mirabai Temple. Do you know about Mirabai? Actually, she was great devotee of Lord Krishna. She was born in Jodhpur, near the Jodhpur city, which is known as a Medha. So she was born there in 1503 AD. And when she was 13 years old, so she got married with our prince. Our prince's name was Bhojraj, who was son of our king. So when she got married with our prince and she came here, so one day she conversation with Krishna's idol. So her husband, he made that temple for her.
Wow.
Yeah. And after 1 year, her husband died. So when her husband died, in that time here tradition, you know, as I told you, Sati, when her husband died, his wife, she burnt with her husband dead body alive. So she did not Sati because she accepted as a husband of Lord Krishna. That is why she left palace and she came in the temple, and she always lived in the temple and worship of the Krishna, and she didn't accept the well system. She always dancing with holy men. That is why her brother-in-law name was Vikramaditya. As I told you, in legal son Banvir, he killed him. So when Vikramaditya, he became king and he ruled over this fort, so he tried to kill her. I mean, he sent a poison cup to kill her. But as I told you, I mean, Meera, she drank the poison. Poison has been converted into nectar. She did not die. Again, he sent a basket in hidden a snake. So when she opened the basket, snake has been converted into garland. That's why after Meera, she left this fort and she went to Dwarika. Dwarika in Gujarat.
Gujarat.
Yeah, famous for the Lord Krishna. So one day she involved in the Krishna's statue. I mean, she disappeared. Anybody could not see her dead body. She became immortal. That is why now this temple, which is known as the Mirabai Temple. So sitting statue, lady statue, that one is called Mira, and with Krishna.
Okay, yeah.
If you want to go inside, take off your shoes.
Mm.
Okay. And you know, her teacher name was Ravidas. So Mira's teacher Ravidas, who was a shoemaker.
Shoemaker.
Yeah, but Mira she accepted as a guru, as a teacher. He teach. So you can see the footprint of her teacher on the that.
Can I?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Bueno.
You can see in the ceiling a nice example of the sculpture in the ceiling. There is a one head and five body. So according to Hindu mythology, human body which is made in five elements, you know.
Five chakra.
Yeah. No.
Five elements. Seven chakra.
Five elements, seven chakra. So five elements like earth, sky, water, air, fire, and space. So five body which are represent five elements.
Okay.
Head is one because soul is one. Soul is never die. That's why one head. It is symbol of the.
Pues me está diciendo tantos nombres de dioses, de princesas, de esas, yo qué sé, me estoy perdiendo totalmente, la verdad. Como había tropecientos mil reyes de diferentes estados, tropecientos mil príncipes, reinas, y cuando los dice súper rápido, no entiendo ni su nombre, pues claro, es un nombre indio, pues nada, digo yo, sí.
As I told you, when Muslim he conquered the fort and he destroyed everything. So first they destroy sculpture because according to Quran they didn't accept any idol worship. That is why they destroy statue like this.
Oh.
Has been big hash. And big temple which is known as a Kumba Temple now. Actually that temple was built in 8th century. In 8th century this temple was built by Bappa Rawal. As I told you, Bappa Rawal, he came from Gujarat, he conquered this fort from the Mauryas. So he made this temple, and in that time in 8th century this temple dedicated to Varaha. You know Varaha? Varaha is the incarnation of Lord Vishnu. You know?
No.
According to Hindu mythology we have three major gods. As I told you, Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. So Brahma is a creator. All universe thing created by Brahma. All universe thing protected by Vishnu. And all universe thing destroyed by Shiva.
But Shiva was not the destroyer.
No, actually Shiva is lived in the cremation area. I will show the temple in cremation site, Shiva Temple. So Shiva is a Sangarak. I mean, all after the life mix in the Shiva. Shiva is a major god. And that's why.
Because there are these people that pray to Shiva to have children.
Yeah,
right?
Yes. And Shiva is a major god because Shiva, according to Hindu mythology, demon and deity, I mean god and demon, grind the sea. So nectar came out from the sea.
Okay.
So first came out the poison from the sea. So Shiva, he drank the poison for the save the universe. So Shiva is a major god. So actually this temple dedicated Lord Vishnu. Vishnu have an incarnation, Vara. Vara it means boar face. So when Alauddin Khilji he destroyed it, then this temple was renovated by Rana Kumba, and Rana Kumba he established new idol inside.
When?
In 1433. 1433
So
it was renovated.
15th century?
Yeah,
wow.
It was renovated in by Kumba. So in those days, now is a Krishna temple, but in those days it is a Vishnu temple. And you know Vishnu have a vehicle, transport by Garuda. You know Garuda? Like this. It is a transport of Vishnu. I mean, according to Hindu mythology, when we will see Shiva temple, you can see outside bull. Bull is a transport of Shiva.
Okay.
And Garuda is a transport of Vishnu.
Okay.
And goddess Parvati have a transport lion. So,
Wow.
I mean, we have many god and goddess. All god and goddess have a different animal for the transport.
Possible to go in?
Yeah, take off your shoes in the shadow, then you will go in. And you can see from inside yourself. I will meet in outside.
Ok. Bueno, pues aquí sí que tengo que entrar, que este templo... Uf, cómo quema. Uf. Este templo la verdad es que lo merece. Pero lo bonito está por fuera, la verdad. Pues mira que están tan grandes, también me he explicado lo de los dioses hindús, pero tío, hay tantos y hay, yo qué sé, tantas figuras dentro de cada, bueno, dentro, que acompañan a cada dios y luego los demonios, es una locura. Bueno, voy a poner las bambas al tuk-tuk y al siguiente destino. Hasta ahora.
Our place, first you see this tower. This tower was built by Kumba, Rana Kumba. He was king, and it was built in 1448. I mean, it was started in 1448, and this tower was completed in 1458. I mean, it took 10 years. And because Kumba, he was a great ruler and a great scholar. So in his time, both of Muslim invaders, I mean Middle India, you know, Middle India, which is called Malwa in those days. So Mahmud Khilji, who was ruler of Middle India from Malwa, and Ahmad Shah, who founded Ahmedabad town in Gujarat. So both of Muslim invaders attacked on this fort with combined army. That time our king Kumba he fought against both of Muslim power, and our king Kumba he got victory both of Muslim power. That is why he celebrate his victory. That is why it is called Victory Tower.
So he constructed this tower because of a victory?
Yes. And this tower was started, as I told you, from 1448 to 1468, 1458, 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah. And this tower is high, from base to top, 37 meter it is high. And there are 157 steps. And it is built 9 story itself, according to 9 planets.
Not possible to go in?
Yeah, because now is COVID, that's why it is closed.
Oh, okay.
So it is closed, and there are 157 steps like this, and inside and outside of this tower you can see many sculpture according to Ramayana Mahabharata. You know Ramayana?
Yeah.
It is a holy book in Hindu religion. So according to Ramayana Mahabharata, we can see all god and goddess statue inside and also outside.
Okay.
So now we will go from that side to down, see the temple. This tower also restored in 18th century, that's why you see like the new one. It is old and then has been destroyed during the attack from this. history of this tower, you see bottom part is the broad, middle part is the narrow, again top is the wide. Different art and different architecture used Kumba in 15th century.
Why is narrow in the middle?
What?
Why is narrow in the middle?
Because it is a different art. Because there is a, if we will climb up, so wide we will see steps in outside, and narrow stories we will found steps in inside. So it is a different art and architecture used in Kumba in that time. So like Qutub Minar, have you seen Qutub Minar in Delhi?
No, I haven't been in Delhi.
Yeah, okay, if you will go there, so I mean Qutub Minar, bottom part is the broad, but top part is very pointed, but it is different. The top part is wide, like you know musical instrument, Shiva's musical instrument, Damru, middle part is narrow and plays the music, so it is shape of like the musical instrument of the Shiva.
पास में
So just we cross this gate. So this gate which is known as the North Sati gate, because this gate is situated in northern side, and in those this gate was connected from palace. We have seen the royal palace, Kumba Palace. We have seen.
Yes.
So this was connected from that palace, because in those days, if royal family member has died, so his dead body bring from palace to through this gate. This one was a cremation site of royal family.
Cremation site?
Yeah.
Okay.
So now you will see there are many broken temple like this. So there are many temple in that time. So because in those days sati, it was tradition, as I told you, when her husband died, his wife she should burn with her husband dead body alive. So where the sati, then after royal family member, they were build temple for her memory. That's why we can see there are many temple. But during the attack has been destroyed. And it was a cremation area. That is why, according to Hindu mythology, must be two things near the cremation area. One is the Temple of Shiva. That is why we are going to see the Temple of Shiva.
Okay. Lo que tenemos enfrente es el Templo de Shiva. Okay.
Actually, this temple was built in 11th century.
11th?
Yeah.
Okay.
By Raja Bhoj. Raja Bhoj, who was emperor of Middle India. But in 11th century, he defeated Ajmer king. When he go back, so one night he stay here. So he built the temple for as a gift to our king. Then after Alauddin Khilji, he destroyed it. So then after this temple was renovated by Rana Mokul. Rana Mokul, who was father of Kumba. Kumba, he made the tower. So his father Mokul, he renovated this temple in 1428 AD. Mostly when you will see Shiva temple in India, you see inside a lingam. You know lingam?
No.
Symbol of Shiva. You can see under the tree like that.
Okay, yes.
It's symbol of Shiva.
Yes, and you put water.
Yes. But if we will go inside the temple, you will see different idol of the Shiva like our face. So there are three faces of Shiva. Do you want to go inside?
Yeah.
So take a photo here. And inside is a very long statue, near about 9 feet long statue inside.
Pues no quería grabar dentro, por si acaso me decían algo por respeto. Y la verdad es que los por dentro, bueno, tienen sus campanitas y su altar. Y luego pues los que lo cuidan o viven ahí, pues para vender cosas. Pierde todo su encanto. de verdad. Lo bonito está por fuera. O sea que a menos que busquéis que os bendigan y que, bueno, eso, que os pongan la pintura en la cabeza, no, la verdad es que muchos de ellos no merece la pena entrar. Voy a poner las bambas y nos vamos a seguir por aquí, por los templos.
Esta historia continuará.